Kyrenia is a picturesque small Mediterranean town in northern Cyprus. Even in the depths of winter, tourists from all over Europe come to enjoy the pleasant weather. In fact, many decide to stay and build a house here. That was what Marianne Stokes was planning to do. 5 years ago, the Englishwoman and her partner decided to start a new life in the Turkish part of the island and spent all her savings on a new house.
This was just a winter terrace here for the sun, south sun, which would have been very nice in the winter. Have your morning coffee, sitting out here, just watching the sunrise over the mountains.
But her new home was never finished. The Turkish Cypriot who sold her the plot didn't tell her he only owned half of it. Stokes has now stopped the building work in case the other half's real owners turn up to claim it back.
And one of the questions I have is, how do you determine who owned the land beforehand? And we don't know the answer to that yet. We have nothing else. We have no assets anywhere else but in North Cyprus, and there are thousands of people in the same situation. So why should they be worried? Can you be kicked out of your primary home? I don't think so.
But a British judge thought otherwise. The Orams family once lived in this house. The former owner, a Greek Cypriot who had fled to the south of the island, took them to court in their own country and won. The Orams' Turkish neighbors think the decision was unjust.
The Greeks wanted to make an example of the Orams. That will affect our economy. Foreigners are now scared to buy anything here.
The ruling against the Orams has slammed the brakes on the construction boom in northern Cyprus. Real estate agents are only managing to sell property registered before the partition of the island in 1974. The Greek Cypriot lawyer who handled the case against the Orams has his office just behind the line of demarcation in the divided city of Nicosia. He warns foreigners against buying property in the Turkish north.
This judgment has put an end to this sale. So in that respect, it has helped, at least not to make the Cyprus problem more difficult than it is today to resolve.
Property ownership is one of the biggest obstacles to any reunification agreement, because many of the people living in formerly Greek-owned houses are Turkish Cypriots who were themselves driven out of their homes in the south of the island.
The current possessor has also certain rights. The family concept, home concept will be destroyed and violated in case you don't provide a meaningful redress to that person as well. Therefore, you have to find a compromise there.
A compromise is exactly what Michael Timvios was hoping for. A Greek Cypriot doctor, he wanted compensation for the land his grandfather once had in the north. Timvios turned to an independent arbitrator in North Nicosia and was awarded a plot of land and the equivalent of 800,000 euros. Now the current owner is free to use his grandfather's old property. Timvios has been visiting the north regularly since the border was opened 3 years ago. He says he wanted an amicable settlement of his property claim to contribute to the reconciliation process.
So this was my decision, that I have to do something, since our politicians and our government did nothing for the last 34 years.
The land Timvios' grandfather once owned is close by, but we couldn't film there because it now houses a Turkish military base. Timvios says he'll never forget going back there again 3 years ago.
It was a moving feeling. No bitterness, no hate. After so many years, and after realizing so many things which I didn't know before, it was a feeling of disappointment that we ended up like this.
Most of the foreigners who have bought property in northern Cyprus would be prepared to settle out of court. That would allow people like Marianne Stokes to finish building her dream house and bring the island a step closer to reunification.